Hi, everyone, and welcome again to the new Abnormal. My name's Jon Hendl. I'm the Deputy Director at Y&R PR.
Hi, everybody. I'm Marc Ippolito, President of Burns Entertainment and Sports Marketing.
Great. And Marc, thanks again for joining us today. I know we've been working on a number of projects over the years, and everything in the world, as we know, has kind of changed over the course of the last couple months. We've really worked closely with you in the past at being able to secure talent for a lot of our campaigns, which really helps amplify it and really bring life to the campaign and whatnot. And I know that with COVID and the Black Lives Matter movement, the world's really changed a lot. So wondering if you can just give us a little bit of insight on how it's changed on your side and what you're seeing right now.
Sure. And it's great to be here. Thank you for having me on. Yeah, there's been a lot of shifts over the past few months, probably March being sort of a key point of first when that we started going into lockdowns and how that changed brands being able to engage with celebrities. I mean, one of the first parts that sort of fell off was the ability to do real production. With New York and California having big shutdowns, and obviously those being two of the bigger places where you would produce digital or broadcast campaigns. With those shutdowns occurring, that type of content really could not be produced to the level it was. So what you had was a lot of campaigns being delayed or canceled or put on hold. Those that were active shifted potentially more into what social. You had campaigns that could be activated, but again, more from a social perspective. What talent, what creators, what influencers could shoot at home on their own phones or cameras or computers. And you saw a lot of that just sort of real basic content being produced. A lot of it at the beginning was really all COVID related.
Sure.
Whether it being the stay home, stay safe message, some type of message tied into how a brand may be raising funds or money for COVID, some type of COVID relief. A lot went in, you saw a lot of like food banks being supported, things like that. So that was sort of the initial pivot that happened in March.
And Marc, what are you seeing in terms of from a talent perspective? What are they looking for in campaigns moving forward and engagements with our clients moving forward? What's really driving them?
Sure. I think, at first it was how do we integrate an appropriate COVID related message was a big part of it. Or at least understanding how is this company or brand supporting a COVID related response. As we moved into the protests and then Black Lives Matter became such an important part of the consideration set by celebs and influencers. Again, well, first, some celebrities wanted to put pause on the activities they were doing because there was definitely a period of time in June where there was a lot of activity, there were a lot of protests, a lot of discussion about social injustice, and they just didn't feel it was appropriate to post content, do press about a particular brand. Not that there was anything wrong with the brand or the message, but it didn't want to come across as being tone deaf at the time. So what a lot of celebs are looking at is, okay, again, how do we integrate a social justice message, a Black Lives Matter message, or at a bare minimum, the brand that I'm supporting, even if maybe that message isn't appropriate for what I'm doing and I'm still comfortable with that, what is that brand or what is that company's positioning as a whole? And let's also not forget, in June was also Pride Month. So you had a lot of these social issues coming to the forefront that celebs were considering. And they were, what we were also hearing from agents and managers was the talent wanted their teams to come back to them and say, we have this opportunity for you, or you're in a current deal. Here's what this brand is doing or what they're going to propose they will do in your campaign. Because they wanted, a lot of celebrities wanted to feel like at least I'm engaging with a brand that does have a legitimate social message that I can support.
That aligns with me. Yeah. And I think, as we get to the back half of the year, Mark, we're seeing, I know you do a lot of work with celebrities and athletes. We're starting to see a lot of the sports come back online and
Mhm.
even some of the production, as you mentioned before, coming back online. So, I mean, it's sort of like a double-edged sword that there might be opportunities to work with celebrities, but they might also be a little bit more jammed up in things that they're doing from their professional scope. So, what do you think is the best path forward for brands as they're considering working with celebrities and athletes in the second half of the year?
Well, I think from the athlete perspective, a lot of what's going to happen is in some ways no different than what would happen in a current season. You do have a limited availability because of practice schedules and game schedules and team rules and requirements. You have the NBA in the bubble, but that doesn't preclude potential opportunities as long as they're safe and follow protocols within that bubble. So what a lot of athletes have done too is they have created content, and some of it is fitness related or what's their day in the life related, because it's different than what we're typically seeing. So that part hasn't changed so much. What we're still waiting to see on the sort of the celebrity side, will the TV industry start ramping up production? Will movies start to get into production? Because if you were using a celebrity and they were on a TV show, you had to work around that schedule anyway. Or they were shooting a movie. You had to work around that schedule anyway. Right now, what's really interesting, especially at the very beginning of COVID, when you had all these things canceled, TV, movie production, and music tours. So you had all these musicians who were supposed to go on tours or in the middle of tours who were sitting at home. And that's a lot of them, frankly, what we heard was they were bored. So that's why you had these celebs, especially these musicians, going and doing in their home studio, which you would never had seen before, performing 3 songs for a brand's internal event or for a fundraiser. They had nothing. They were planning on spending the next 6-7 months on the road, and now they're not. So a lot of them wanted to do stuff and they wanted to be engaged. So you saw a lot of that. And again, until that goes back online, you're still going to see some of that. You might see celebs who may not have done those types of activations before do them, frankly, not necessarily, partly because they just wanted to be engaged.
Yeah, no, I think that you bring up a lot of great points, and I think the authenticity of really finding those connections between the celeb or the talent that works closely with the brand, and it's really a moment in time for the brands to, it seems like, rethink, okay, now there is a moment in time, there is a way to get back, and the channels that the talent has, it is a place that we can explore too. So, I mean, I'd love to continue the conversation another time, Mark. I think we're out of time, but I really appreciate you speaking with us today. We're looking forward to jumping in and having some more campaigns with you going on in the future. And, best of luck in the second half of the year.
Great. Thank you very much. I really appreciate being on. It's fun.